Ako kasi yung karanasang hindi ko malilimutan dun sa Beijing, yung active participation ng mga people's organization. Talagang iginigiit yung kanilang karapatan dun sa ipinapakipaglaban natin na may kinalaman dun sa SIDAW. Yun yung nakita kong active participation ng mga people's organization at NGO. Talagang gumagawa sila ng paraan para ipakita yung mga datos na dala-dala ng bawat mga bansa. At yun ding yung ginagawa din ng NGO noon, yung particular yung Philippine delegation, yung tuwing gabi, nagmi-meeting para consolidation yung mga nagawa sa bawat araw. Yun yung isa, no? Okay. Tapos, ano yung epekto na ito? Siyempre, mas naging active yung participation sa bansa niya. Kasi dito sa atin, sa Pilipinas, ala pa nun ng Magna Carta for women eh. Talagang yung participation ng mga people's organization doon sa pagsusulong ng Magna Carta for Women. Talagang nakita pati sa agrarian reform, sa lahat may kinalaman sa gender and development program ng ating pamahalaan, talagang active na nag-participate. Kami sa Kabapa, talagang yung paglalabi sa Congress at saka sa Senate, talagang ginawa namin yun.
So I think the best memory of Beijing was the energy of 40,000 women who converged, many of them in Huairou, where the NGO forum was held. The theme, as indicated in the program, was looking at the world through women's eyes. And I thought, oh, how wide-ranging the vision of women then was, and up to now we carry that vision with us, and the diversity of the issues that were taken up, and yet the unities that were derived from the exchanges and the conversations were the first time the women's movement in all its diversity in the Philippine context, we came together, we had a common position, we had a march in Beijing. We proved that we could unite if we had a process to do that. After the Philippine NGO Beijing Scoreboard was formed, a year after, every year meron, and then after that, every 5 years, and then we came up with an NGO academe report to accompany and also to be, to have an independent assessment separate from government. So from 2010, 2015, 2020, and the latest is 2025. We have carried on, and we hope to still move forward with the energy of young women this time. So we pass the torch now to the younger ones.
Well, that was the first time I attended a World Conference on Women. The Philippines, as chair of G77 at that time, had to preside over various consultative meetings to come up with the G77 position on the draft platform for action. I remember being tasked, together with Ami Torres of the Department of Labor and Employment then, to serve as rapporteurs to tackle the draft section on education and training of women. It was quite a challenge as there were many diverse ideas and issues discussed. And to my surprise, I was called to present to the body the various revisions and comments at the end of the meeting. Mm-hmm. And I think I did a good job, as Dr. Licuanan told me later, that her tita, the late Senator Helena Benitez, was impressed with my presentation. As the Gender and Development Focal Person in NEDA, the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action has become my Bible, so to speak. My main reference in trying to integrate gender perspective in development planning, investment programming, program and project monitoring and evaluation, which are all functions of NEDA.
Because it took quite a distance, it was quite a distance between the place where we were, our residence, and the conference site. And we were just so exhausted during the day. Most of us just went home at night, unable to even, stop to buy any food. So we survived mostly on noodles, noodles that you had in a cup. Was this actress, this Hollywood actress, I forget her name, but she won an Academy Award. She played a union leader. She used to play the Flying Nun. Oh God, I'm gonna have to come up with her name, but she's a Hollywood star. And I was surprised that you had a politician like Hillary Clinton, a high profile political figure, and you had a Hollywood movie star, and yet those two sectors were represented in that conference. That was what Beijing conference was for me. It was not attending one lecture, listening to one, looking at one exhibit. I realized that there were thousands of us women from all over the globe gathered together to build a cathedral. That cathedral was not a monolith that was built in just one place at one time. As far as I am concerned, there were people at the Ateneo de Manila, Soledad Reyes included, who decided to build, in a manner of speaking, a mini cathedral, which is why we established the Ateneo Library of Women's Writing. I am happy to report that the Ateneo Library of Women's Writing celebrates its 25th year.
My most memorable experience in Wairo was the march that Gabriela organized. I think it was towards the end of the NGO forum, the last day maybe. And we started with just 50 Gabriela women and our invited participants. And then we went down the dirt road, and then the tents. We invited other women who were, holding their workshops. And then they came, and we ended up with hundreds of women joining that march. So it was an exhilarating experience. It was really a moment of sisterhood and solidarity. We were marching to protest imperialist globalization. We were saying that globalization will only worsen the commodification, displacement, and modern-day slavery of women. And of course, we know years after that indeed globalization has only worsened the situation, especially of poor women in the South.
I joined the Philippine delegation as the representative of the Rural Improvement Club, or RIC. The RIC is organized by the Department of Agriculture and is dedicated to help rural women develop their skills and livelihood endeavors. I invited Mrs. Eva Fajardo to accompany me. At that time, Mrs. Fajardo was the director of the newly organized Panlalawigang Komisyon ng Kababaihan ng Bulacan, or PKKB, to promote greater involvement of women in provincial development and to address other concerns. There are two events I remember most. Together with two professors from UPLB, we sponsored a small forum regarding food security in the rural areas in the Philippines. Second, the Philippine delegation, with the image of Mama Mary, began a procession with Senator Helen Benitez at the helm. We were then joined by women from other delegations. All of us from different races started praying and singing in our native tongues. This I will never forget.
That was also my first experience and very unforgettable because I had to bring very good media personalities. I think we were about 12 from the private sector, including Rina David, Dominito Revillas, all the top editors-in-chief, no? And these are all women. So I was really amazed at how these Filipina editors, journalists are really excited and to cover the whole event. Well, the late Senator Shahani had always placed me on my toes because every morning she would wake me up and say, okay, we have to go to the press conference, press briefing at 7 o'clock. The coverage that we got from both international media and the national media, I think it was overwhelming because when we came back, lahat ng national papers, society pages, and even the radio TV coverages were good, very good. In fact, even our Asian journalists were saying, oh, you had very good coverage. You're always on the front page. And so we said, well, that's the working of the national women leaders. I can say that it would be a hard act to follow.